going on, Jerome's? So we're obviously a Twins fan, and we've gotten some poop before for wearing this Mariners hoodie. But I feel like the Randy Johnson, Ken Griffey Jr., A-Rod, Edgar Martinez, Jay Buhner, Joey Cora era of the Mariners was pretty good. Also, I just really like the cut of the sweatshirt. It's nice and warm. Anyways, your Minnesota Vikings are nice and warm at home because they ain't at practice getting ready for the playoffs. But general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, by the way, that Bud hat, it's fantastic. This Bud's for me. I need to get that hat. As well as head coach Kevin O'Connell, looking really fired up. Had their end of season presser. They addressed a couple things and stuff. So let's dive on in. First up, Will Rag at Sports Illustrated. GM Kwesi Adofo-Mensah on competitive rebuild. Also, I want to get a shirt for us fat guys that say, I'm not fat. It's just a competitive rebuild. I feel like we're going to be billionaires. Anyways, this is what he said. Quote, I think we've done a lot of positives. We've gained some of our financial flexibility. We have competed, and we want to get to the point where that's not rebuild. It's just competitive. We're close to that. And, this is going to be a multi-year rebuild. And the whole thing about it, too, is like he mentions gain some financial flexibility. That's why the Vikings parted ways with Thielen. That's why they parted ways with Kendricks and Dalvin Cook, as well as let Patrick Peterson walk. It's probably why they're going to cut Harrison Smith and save $11 million in cap space. So, I mean, the Vikings, if Kirk stays healthy, this team is ultra competitive. But they had some very bad injury puck luck this year. Whether it be Hawkinson, whether it be JJ, whether it be Murphy down the stretch, whether it be Marcus Davenport, the big-time free agent. So, I think the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings were 13-4, the division last year. Somehow managed 7 wins this year, and the first 8 losses were just them giving the game away. So I understand the frustration, and I understand that recency bias is certainly all up in there. But I think that this team is going to be very competitive and very good next season. Next up, we're here to win Super Bowls, not be competitive. You have to be competitive first to win a Super Bowl. Next up, Kevin Seifert, who is not Carl Schmidt. Kevin O'Connell, I do feel like I've grown a lot in this role. Gotta see more, man. Like, we've been on board with the competitive rebuild. Now we gotta start seeing some results, and also we gotta see progression from Kevin O'Connell, both as a play caller, both as a head coach, both as a leader of men. And again, I like the culture that they built thus far, but now they gotta prove that culture can win. Or we're going back to a Zimmer type coach. Kwesi, we faced a lot of adversity this season, but you want to get to a point where you can meet that adversity and still get into the tournament. And that's the whole thing too, where the Vikings, they had the whole world in their hands right at the end against the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers, and then they just do not show up. The full-on no call, no show on New Year's Eve, frankly, really pissed me off as a fan. What's up, Sylvie? Hey, this is like that thing where people catch a fish and then they take a picture, but they hold the fish really close. I mean, the cat looks like a freaking cougar. Yeah, or like a puma or like a bobcat. Anyways, but at a certain point, like, you have to overcome. I mean, the Browns overcame a ton of injuries and got in, and frankly could make some hay in the playoffs. But also they have a top 3 defense. Seifert, Kwesi has used the words big offseason twice already. It's clear he and the Vikings know how many important decisions await. Kirk, Daniil, JJ, maybe Darrisaw, as well as sign Chris Jones, sign Jalen Johnson, sign Saquon, do all the damn things. Go ahead. The cap is a myth. You can work it out flexibility-wise. And then, so this is from Alec Lewis. This is Kwesi talking about the future of Kirk Cousins. Quote, I think I've been pretty consistent with that when he was asked if he wants Kirk Cousins back. Kirk, the player. He's somebody who, as we saw what he does for this team, I thought we'd been playing really good football before he got injured. It's the most important position in sports. Ultimately, it always comes down to, can you find an agreement that works for both sides and all of those things? But as a player, it's certainly my intention. To have him back here. So Kirk Cousins has talked glowingly about this team and how he wants to be back, and Kwesi putting down the gauntlet there. It's my intention to have him back here. Of course, that could be Rick Spielman. We have no intention of trading Percy Harvin at this time. I do think that something is going to work out, and I think it's going to be a number that's going to be a lot lower than a lot of people think. And with JJ, Will Rag at Sports Illustrated, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah says he had some good dialogue with Justin Jefferson's representation this morning. Always optimistic about those things. And the whole thing with the negotiations with JJ, aside from the not showing up for voluntary workouts, hasn't been like a hard holdout. Hasn't been any animosity on social media. Hasn't been, JJ taking shots at the team, being all cryptic and stuff like, wide receivers and edge rushers in need of contracts are want to do. And you haven't heard any leaks through the media of, JJ is asking for $40 million per year, which we always say in contract negotiations, if the less you hear, the better it's going. And we haven't really heard much in terms of each side trying to, be in that squeaky wheel. So I am hopeful that something's going to get done. And like we said a bunch, I think it is contingent on figuring out who the quarterback of the future is going to be, whether it's Kirk, whether it's rookie TBD, whether it's whatever. JJ just wants to know who's going to be throwing him the ball before he signs away his prime. And that's it. Take reaction to Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell's end-of-season press conference. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.